Well, we all know that most of us don't enjoy dealing with our finances, just as many of us don't particularly like cleaning. But that has to be done, and we have an expert joining us, Meridian's VP of Community Banking, Dilys DeCruz, who is going to help us clean our finances. Welcome, Dilys.
So much fun. Thank you, Kate. Great to be here.
So 10 tips for spring cleaning your finances. But first of all, what exactly do you mean by spring cleaning your finances?
I think it's a great time. As I sit down and clean my closet right now is what I'm doing. It's a great time for us to just stop, pause, and take stock of where we are financially. And, because it can get away from us. So it's just an opportunity to take a look at where you are and where you want to go.
Okay, so what do we start? Like, what do I have? I guess would be like, how much do I have in my investments, that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first thing is I think the 5 key things I want to talk about is take stock of where you are. So, what do you have from an investment perspective? What do you have from a debt perspective? And where do you want to be, right? I mean, it's all about goal planning as well, too. What do you want to get out of life? Do you want to go on vacation? Do you want to buy a car? And so really take stock of where you are and where you want to be. And so there's some things that to be part of this whole process, I've got 5 tips I want to share with you that sometimes people don't think about. And so starting with tip number 1 is I'm going to talk about credit score. Know what your credit score is, and many of us don't. So it's also referred to as a beacon score. And credit score is really determines how much banks will lend to you, whether it's on a credit card, whether you need a loan. It's really an indicator of how you manage your credit as well. And so it used to be more difficult to get access to your credit score. Quite often you go to Equifax or you can go to Transcontinental. But now there's more and more firms such as Borrowell and many other firms out there that are just providing your credit score free.
Okay, because I was going to say, because it used to be that when you looked up your credit score actually went down.
Yeah, right. So you lead me into something. So that is not an inquiry. When you're when you personally are asking for your own credit score, that is not an inquiry.
That doesn't count. Okay, good.
So they'll give you a credit report. But I'm glad you brought that up, because the things that you want to really know about that affects your credit score is obviously how much debt you have, how often or how frequently that you're paying down, or you're not missing payments. So in other words, if you miss a payment, that is for a credit card or a loan, that is going to affect your credit score. But the third thing, which you brought up, is every time you get an inquiry done on your credit, that will affect. So if you're shopping for credit cards and everybody's making these great offers and they're offering you all these freebies, and you've now applied for 3 different credit cards and you're going to a different bank to get a loan, it's going to take a hit on your credit card. So be very conscious of how many credit inquiries you are having done.
What about when you're shopping for a mortgage or something, which a lot of people does?
Yeah, so mortgages won't hit you right away.
Okay.
Now, because you will go in for pre-approvals before they take the credit score, but when you actually start going through the approval, they will pull that up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So really, really important to do that. Track your spending. And so that can sometimes be easier said than done, right? How do we track our spending, especially when we're using, again, debit and credit so freely and easily? I barely use cash. So there is a good thing about that, because everything is tracked now. And you can see where you're spending your money. So you can use apps. There's many apps on the market that will help you track where your money is going. Many financial institutions have that linked into their online banking service. And there's another way to do it, which I've done as well, too, is you can download your statement through your online bank. And then if you know Excel, and it's quite easy to do, you just sort it alphabetically. And then put a little subtotal. And you can see how much money you're spending on coffee or how much money you're spending on.
This could be bad.
And it's enlightening. It's enlightening. So even if you don't have an app, even once a month or every couple of months, download this, just sort it on Excel, because it comes in an Excel spreadsheet, and you can take a look. So this is a really good way to kind of get a reality check. And I've done it, and I've been surprised at sometimes where I am just loosely spending or spending way too much.
And so that can help you then eventually create like a budget, a realistic budget, right?
You led right into my third point. See,
I'm just so good. I'm on fire. Okay.
Kate the banker. So,
yeah,
hardly. So absolutely. Next piece is, if you have a budget, review it. If not, create one. Now, it is such a big word, budget, create your budget, and people get scared. So I really want to say, just be realistic about it. be realistic. Don't get too overly aggressive. And really what you want to do is, what income do I have coming in and what am I spending it on? So what are all my expenses? Where is it going? And what debt do I have and what investments do I have? And so once you figure out what you have left over, and once you've taken out your income and all your debt and credit card payments and everything else, what do you have left over? And is that sufficient to save? Or are you in the red? And if you're in the red, then you're going to need to start scaling back. And that's why tracking your expenses is really important.
Are you in favor of like automatic payments so that you don't, I prepay like my cell phone thing. That's done. It's automatically done.
Yeah. So you just led into my point number 4. You were just like on fire. It's unbelievable. My 4th point was,
maybe
I
we
think
just
you should
leave
just do
now.
this.
Okay. I'm ahead.
Number 4 is automate.
It is automate.
It's
Okay.
automate.
Because sometimes I worry, because sometimes I think maybe I should have gone back and actually checked the bill.
Yeah.
In case I was overcharged something. But because it's already taken care of, I don't tend to look as closely as I would if I was still getting the bill in the mail.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because that does happen, and that's a risk. I know you get lazy, you get complacent because it's coming out. You just assume it's okay, so you're not as diligent because you haven't paid.
That's the word.
So you do, because there have been mistakes, right? Sometimes you get all of a sudden it's like, whoa, you're going through your statement. So that's why it's important to check your statement regularly and go back and just see what the payments that are coming out and look at the statements for whatever you have coming out automatically. But I think it's a really good way, because then again, you know what's coming out, and you don't have to worry about making that bill payment, and you get it done on time as well. And so with Automate, again, I talk about savings all the time. Automate that savings plan so that it's just part of what you do. It comes out bi-weekly with your pay or monthly, but it's just take out a little bit of money, as much as you can afford, and increase it as you can. Put it away in a separate savings account. And by the way, I have about 3 or 4 savings accounts, and I label them different things. So I have a vacation one. I have one for the kids. I have one if I want, if I'm saving for a car or a midterm purchase, I have one for midterm purchase. So have more than one savings account. And Meridian has a savings account that pays 1.5% interest with no fees. So why not set up a bunch of them and then just have money, transferred to these various accounts? So then you don't feel bad dipping into them, because you've actually been saving for what you want. So Automate is huge. And then my last piece is review your contracts. What insurance do you have? Is it, shop your insurance around on car, on home, on life, because there's opportunity possibly to save money there. And also look at, phone, cable, all your utilities. There's always many, many offers happening, and there's an opportunity again to say, can I get my costs down in terms of what I'm paying out? And as we know, there's always these offers out. And then again, if we're not paying attention, we don't get an opportunity to take advantage of them.
Absolutely. Now, when you talked about, reviewing your contracts, I got a phone call from, it was Bell, and they were suggesting ways that I could reduce my fees, which I thought was surprising.
Yeah.
They said, do you really need this? Do you really, you haven't watched this channel? And I said, how do you know exactly what my viewing habits are? But anyway, but they did suggest ways and cut about $40 a month off my bill.
Now that's fantastic.
Which I thought was surprisingly good service, because usually I'm complaining about them.
Yeah.
But with insurance, a lot of people say that if you combine your home, your car, everything, you can get a better rate. So maybe, is it better to have all your insurance with one company?
I've gone through the experience of shopping insurance, and I find that when you do bring it over, you get better discounts. And then the longer you're with them, you get discounts. But there also comes a point sometimes I find where when you're with them to a certain point, it pays to shop around again, because other firms will offer you some bigger, better things to get in. And I think that applies to, again, your internet, your cable, everything.
Well, everyone wants to get the most bang for their buck, right? It is our buck.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So Meridian certainly sounds like it's got lots of ways to help.
Absolutely. And again, we talk about budgeting, and we talk about, the spring cleaning and looking at your finances. It can be overwhelming. I don't want to underestimate that. And so I always say, go into an advisor, let them take a look at what your financial situation is. And more importantly, they will work with you on your goals and what you want to achieve, whether it's, saving money for your children's education, for saving money for a house, going on a vacation, whatever it is. They will work with that and then help you come up with a budget and help you with payments and these kind of tips that are really going to, make it easier for you.
Dillista Cruz, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Kate.